All right. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. I tell you what, man, it's it's weird. Still weird to me, even though this show hasn't changed times at 8 o'clock. The order flip of doing this show before the paycheck is still weird. I actually was going to the garage with my coffee before I came down here. I still kind of jacked up about where to go. Anyway, how are we all doing today? I've got a bunch of things to talk about. I hope today's going to be an interesting show. I'm going to do a little bit of not rolling out, but I want to do some table demo today, and I want to do a little bit of WinCraps today. We're going to talk about what it means to go Commando in Craps and whether it's better to do that, like I keep saying it is, or whether I'm just full of beans. So we'll find out here in just a little bit. But before we do, let's jump in and review. Oh, that's the wrong screen. I want to go here. Why is it showing the wrong screen? There we go. Come on. Let's review the paycheck. I got a couple of things to talk about with regards to the daily paycheck. A couple of things that came up yesterday that I want to get into. So first of all, Dolly Latterson, so far, cross your fingers, we're 8-0 so far. We're having a good run. We're up $800, which is great. That's what we should be up. One day where we won a little less than we should have. But yeah, we're doing well, full of beans. Yeah, right. I didn't even realize I said that. Anyway, here's where it's at. I think that we're finding that I want to play for excess, right? We said we're going to go for 20%, settle for 10. It's hard. It's been hard to get 10%. And the reason why always with me is I start behind, right? Lose the first two bets. Now you're fighting backwards all day long. Yesterday's a good example of this. The Dolly, we had a rough time. We started out, I think the player who was playing the odds was down about $600 at one point because it just, right? We caught a bad run. And Darksider had said to me afterwards, he said, you haven't run this strategy against a really good shooter yet. You are, I was crowing about being 8-0. And he's like, you haven't even run. Yes, I have. I mean, we had a 35 roller last week. The guy knocked us off like 6 times. And yesterday, every roller yesterday, except for 2, was in the teens. We were getting picked off all day long. We are fighting against really good shooters. Me, out there in the garage. It's working. Even against good shooters, it's working. So I feel like, yeah, this strategy's got legs because I'm shooting at the current time, last 2 weeks, really, really well, and we're still making our money. But it's been hard to make that money. It's been really hard to fight the good shooters and get past 10%. And when I get to 10%, I feel like, God, 85 rolls in, we got it. I'm not going anymore to get the extra juice. So it's been hard. But it's been enlightening to me that this thing is working. Darksider also said yesterday, you're just playing it too long. Like, you'd never do this in the casino. I'm like, well, what we're seeing out there is live WinCraps. You're watching me play it and get the graph going, right, to see what happens. You're finding that, and what this is proving more than anything else, not the De Lambert system, but a straight up ladder like Wayland's Mind or the Perpetual Press. If you've got the bankroll to keep playing it, which we're a little bit underfunded right now, but if you've got the bankroll to sustain that on a dark leaning strategy like the Latterson is, you're going to come back. That thing has come back every day. The reason why is because the ladder of those bets and not coming down the ladder, but just rising the ladder all the time. That thing has fought back every day because of that. When you catch the 2-3 in a row, that always seems to happen on a don't. The bigger bets just boom, 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 and you're back. It does work itself out. But the problem that I run into with it is once I get there on a bad run, you're supposed to kind of come back. Yesterday we were at 100 flat, 50 on the small bet. And when we got to like 100 and I think we got to like $80 in profit or something like that. We weren't quite at paycheck yet. And I went, well, because at least we're even now, finally, we should go back down to base 30 and 15. And then I went, no, we're playing for excess profit. This came up, I think, from Michael. I think Michael brought it up. He's like, you didn't play it right. You got to go back down to base. I'm like, well, really, we got to even in the bankroll plus a little bit of profit. Yeah, back to base is option 1. Option 2 is what I did, half the bets. I went from 150 to 50 and 25. So not quite base, but not laddered up, thinking that we can get 1 or 2 more quick hits in there and be at extra profit. And that was what I did. I went down half instead of option 1, go to base, option 2, go half, option 3, stay where I am. right? And I think when you're in profit like that, you got to make that tough call. If you're going to play for 20% or excess profit, you got to stay above the minimum when you get past it. And that's what I did. That's why I chose what I did yesterday. That was the reason for that. So I wanted to make sure I explained that, the why. Also, what came up in the Paycheck show was, why are we doing a bankroll build along with the Paycheck? And it was kind of confusing for some people to why I'm doing this. There's a threefold thing that I want to get to with this bankroll builder series. One is, I wanted to get a month with each of the good strategies. We got about 8 or 9, whatever it was, strategies that did really well in their 1-week runs on the original daily Paycheck. So I want to give them each a month. Okay, that's good, because I want to get them lots of time on the table, lots of different roll combinations, lots of craziness that you're going to see. Can they all survive it? That was question 1. To make that interesting, you got to put some skin in the game to make that interesting. So I thought, well, let's tie that together with building a bankroll. We'll play with smaller amounts because everybody gets gripey when I play with $5,000, right? So we're doing $1,000 buy-in. We're doing regular amounts, and I'm going to prove to you 2 things. One is, strategies can or can't hold up over time. The second thing that we're going to prove is that if you're disciplined and have good money management skills and you're eyes wide open and with what you're doing, you can actually build a bankroll small amounts at a time. And we're trying to prove that as we go. Here we are, $800 up about 2 weeks in, which is pretty damn good, right? I want to prove that theory at the same time that we're vetting these strategies out over long periods. So it's a twofold thing, and the dollar amounts are different. So I'm putting some risk of like reputation on the line along with the strategies. And that's exactly why I'm doing it that way. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and you're right. You're saying, well, the odds guy would have been ahead at the end if I had left the odds guy up too, but I stopped him playing, right? We ended up making him stop play because he got to, I think, what was he at? He was at, I forget what he was at. He was at like 15 or 16% profit. And I thought, that's excess. He's done. The other guy wasn't at excess yet, so I had to give him one extra shooter. The same as the other day. The odds guy gets there quicker, but way more volatility. I'm also considering, by the way, not going 2-to-1 on the flat player. 50 and 25 or 30 and 15. I'm going to go 30 and 30 and keep the bets the same size the whole way through. I think that's limiting us a little bit by having the half size bet. I will probably go with odds for the one roll coming through. So I'll go like $30 flat. I'll do $30 in odds while I'm coming through at the next 30 and work it that way. I think that's the way to do that. So slight change to the plan today. And again, over 30 days, we're learning things about the strategies, what works, what doesn't, what tweaks do you make to make the thing better over the course of a long time. So that's the Paycheck. I wanted to make sure we talked about that because there was, again, it comes up, things come up like this, Michael, while I'm rolling, and I know I don't give a good answer because I'm in the middle of the roll, right? And I don't really think through it because I'm trying to get the work done, right? So I wanted to mull it over and make sure that this morning we talked about it. So I don't want to like not address your question and just kind of give you the reasons why I'm doing certain things. And that was the reason why I did that. I wanted to go for the 20%, but I didn't want to be there for another 2 or 3 rounds, especially given the fact that I had a short leash on time. But we are finding these ladders work. If you got the bankroll, the ladder works. And I think we're proving some of that. So this validates a lot of what Waylon talks about, which is the laddering works when you have the bankroll. Now, playing with 5K and black chips is no different than playing with $1,025 chips. Like, I think that even at 5,000 with blacks, you're sometimes underfunded when you're laddering. I really do. I think that $5,000 with $25 chips and you can ladder to your heart's content, this strategy here would probably never lose under those circumstances, or come damn close to never losing with that kind of hammer behind it. So anyway, there it is. There's the talk about the Ladderson. So I'll see you up there at 9 o'clock for that. Now coming out, a couple of things to get through here. One is going to be this Friday night fights, of course. Old Bay going to be fighting, I think, Nobo if we can get a hold of him. I'll let you know. And Ken, I think tomorrow night, I want to remind you, Ken tomorrow night is doing his CB series. It's Can I Beat It? Ken apparently is too lazy to type out all the words, so he's calling it CB. Can I Beat It? Ken, just type a little bit, will you? And he's putting the Latterson up this week. He's taking me on. He's putting the Latterson up. And he says, I know he's going to give me a bunch of shit during the show. He's not rooting for things to lose. He wants to make things win. When I do my my stop loss zero shows, I'm rooting for it to lose. I'll be honest with you. I put the Horseman up there on stop loss zero last week. I was hoping I could beat it. And I mean that in all honesty. I want to beat the strategy. I want to see the bankroll go to zero. I want to play the skill 66 and have that shit go to nothing. I want to play the squeeze play and burn the bankroll. I want to show you that you can't rely on all of us saying that things are good. Dice don't care. The Horseman survived. Latterson, I'm sure, will probably survive. Although Ken has told me that he's beaten it. He's done it. And he's like, man, that thing got his ass whooped. I'm like, well, on the right run, it will. You catch a bunch of come out sevens. You catch a bunch of, point winners, and that thing is going to go down in flames. So far, we've avoided disaster, right? 8-0, we're lucky with it. So Ken's going to go give it a shot, and, we'll see what he did. Chiro needs to be called out here. I did not put you on the list here, but yeah, you've raised $228 so far. Jen's going to match donations, which is awesome. This community is rock stars. What I should do, actually, Chiro, is this. I should put a screen up here. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me ask you what you think in chat. I could add like one of these little like orange things up here on the screen, like a tally board. Like so far, Jeff's raised, Chiro's raised, Chris is raised, Craig is raised, whatever on the board. So we know what's coming, which is kind of cool to celebrate as we go. I think that's great, by the way. Or not, and have it be like a big reveal. Like you all are going to know what Chiro's done if you're watching his shows, right? But at the actual event, have a big like tote board where we kind of like give Chiro the mic for a minute and say, hey, we raised XYZ doing this on our channel, and whatever. And like at the final thing, like the big announcements could come, right? Which I think is really cool. Or we could just show you all the time, like Chiro just called it out here. Why don't you guys tell me what you want? Go to the Discord and in Coffee and Craps channel, or actually do it in the Craps for the Cure channel. Just tell me what you want. You can put it here in chat too, but I'm gonna miss it probably. Put it in the channel. Let me know in the Discord what you want me to do, and I'll post totals every day as a cool update, or we can hide it and make it a huge surprise at the end. And we got to call Jen out. Jen, you are awesome. I think Jeff scared you away. But Jen's amazing. Jen is, I call her out a lot in chat here, and we're really good friends. And Jen is a good friend of the community and just a wonderful person in general. And I think this is one of those things that showcases that. I think, Jen is just all in with all of us, and I just love it. Yeah, Jeff's running a tally on his live shows of your own things. So everybody knows, I guess, what y'all are doing. We could put a tally up here. My fear with the tally is that we get to, well, not my fear. Maybe it's a fear. We get to Craps for the Cure in November, and we've raised like 9,000 already, and nobody wants to give any money during the show. That's what I worry about. Like, are we going to like announce all this stuff here and say, oh, Jen's matching, you're matching Jeff too? Wow, Jen, you're, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Geez, that's fantastic. I didn't know you were doing that. So yeah, I can have the running tally here if you want. I have no problem with that. I don't want to scare off bidders at the final event. Maybe the final event is all about the auction and less about the smaller donations. Anyway, think through it, man. Jen is a baller. Jen is freaking awesome. Keep it a surprise. Jen says, I want to keep it a surprise. If you watch everybody's channels, you'll know, right? If you watch Craig and Chiro and Chris and Jeff, you'll know what they've done. But I won't. Maybe I just won't show it here. I don't know. Let's talk about it. You guys tell me what you want me to do. All right, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead a little bit. One more quick announcement, by the way. Last week I asked y'all to lift up Greg from 555 and Gwalen. Without spreading details, they both had some family members that had some health issues over the last week or two, and good reports. Everybody's doing well-ish. They're all on the mend. Everybody's on the mend. Let's put it that way. So keep your thoughts and prayers with those two and their families. They're doing well. But yeah, it's they and by the way, they both said, I can't believe you went out there and ask for support, and it helps. They do feel the love. So thanks everybody for doing that for those two. We really, really appreciate it. And of course, we're going to give you the last announcement here, which is about the meetups. More details to come on Seattle soon. Ian, we got to get out to the casino. You and I got to go out there and visit these folks soon, lock some things in. You tell me what your schedule's like, and let's drive out to Snoqualmie and to the Lip, and let's sit down with the guy for a little bit, lock in the dates and times. As soon as the times are locked, we can really start announcing stuff, and I want to make sure that we have it. So you're doing a great job with the logo. Let's get the times. Just give me a call, and you know my schedule, so I can get out there almost whenever they can meet us. I'm pretty wide open, especially in the mornings. All right. All right. Dan says the same thing. Keep it as a surprise. We'll do that. You're doing, Midmoyo is doing PayPal. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Hey, Adam's here. Good morning, Adam. Nice roll yesterday, it sounds like. Okay, what's next? Oh, you know what's next? We're gonna talk to Jen. I'm gonna do the next 20 minutes talking to just only Jen. So you guys can all just pay attention to whatever. Here we go. I want to talk about hedgy wedgies. Okay, we're gonna get into this whole idea today of hedging the come out, and really I'm going to focus on the don't. What I'm going to say to you works the same way on the light side. If you want to hedge your come out, the thing is the come out on the pass line player is easy. It's a simple one. You bet the C&E or bet the any craps. The come out for the dark side player is really, really complicated. Like, it sucks. When you're playing the dark side, that 7, that 11, they're killers, right? How many ways can you save a don't pass bet? I want to go to the table. I'm going to put this up on screen here. I'm going to go to my table, and I want to work with you on what it looks like to try and save a don't bet. And let me get to the right looking screen. How about that? Is that better? There we go. And let's really look at the way. Oh, we got the green screen happening. What is going on there? We lost our. It turned it black. Why did it turn it black? That's fun. Cool. What the hell? Why did it go? Hold on a second. That's going to make me mad now. Why did it make it black? It took the green out. It took the words out that were green and made them black, because there's a green screen set up somewhere on this. Oh my God. Hold on a minute. That's gonna be the kind of thing that drives me to drink right there. Screen share. There we go. I had a button clicked that I shouldn't have clicked. All right, now we're back. All right, let's really look at all the ways people think that it's smart. And I don't mean to say that in a snarky way, but that it's smart to save a don't pass. And I'm probably missing some. As a matter of fact, I know I'm missing some. But let's say we're trying to save this bet, a $25 don't pass bet. We're trying to save that bet from disaster. Well, what a lot of people do is something like this: a $50 lay 10 or a $50 lay 4, either one of those. And of course, you're gonna have to pay some vig, at least 2, maybe 3 in vig, depending on your house. Okay, likely it's $2. Okay, because you're crossing the $20 threshold. Okay, likely it's $2. So you're putting $52 out there to save this. Okay, so the shooter rolls big red. You lose 25, you win 25. You can put it back and feel like a hero, but you did lose $2, and you got to put $2 more back out there again. Okay, so that little transaction, although it does save you here, it does cost you $2 every single time. Every single time you do it, it costs you $2. Now, when you roll the 10, which I know you can do because I've done it, what happens? You lose the $52. Right? Great, your point is now 10. This bet here is worth how much money now? This bet here is worth 0. It's the best bet in the house, right? 2-to-1 advantage, paying 1-to-1, but you're upside down a quarter. This bet's worth minus $25 because you just lost 50, 52, right? You've got to win this bet 2+ times to recover what you just lost up here. Remember that every time you get picked, you got to win twice. And because of vig, you're not really going to be even. You got to win this and this again. Probably going to have to do something like this, lay it, right? Put odds on it and put 75 bucks at risk now to get the one win that still only recovers what you lost, right? You're just going to recover back, even in that situation, what you lost. So getting picked up here requires you either go big on the odds to recover the loss. And in that case, again, you're just going to be even, actually still down $2 if you think about it, or go bigger in odds, really put the risk up there. And if you have a 10 pop again, boy, oh boy, you're in big trouble, right? That's a risky move. It sounds easy, but it's riskier, I think, over time. You can lay anything, by the way. You can lay on the 6 or 8, $30, right? Instead of putting 50 out here, you can lay 30. It's still going to cost you a couple of bucks in the VIG, right? When you're doing a direct lay, you're paying VIG no matter what. But it's 30 instead of 50. So if you get picked on the 6, which is really common, you'll be down a net $7 if that bet wins by itself. And your odds down here can actually recover the loss completely. So the 6 or 8 coupled with odds actually is not a terrible way to go if you can beat it twice, right? They set a 6 and you go, oh shit, I'm down $32. Let's put $30 back down here as odds. If that happens to come out and win, right, you're going to win a quarter on each bet and you're going to recover part of it at least. At least this gets you back a little bit quicker, right? Because you're not recovering quite as much. So you can lay the 5 or 9, right? You can lay the 5 or 9 for $38, 25, 35, $38, which I think 38 plus $2 in VIG. This pays $26, right? You can do that. It's the same thing. You can keep laying all the numbers if you want to, one by one, to try and save against one roll bet, a one roll ugly. Hell, you can lay the whole back wall. We've done the back wall lay, right? You can put $30 on every number, right? And what happens here when you do this? If it's even allowed, you might have to go 40 on the 4 and 10. What's going to happen here with a $25 dome? Well, shit. You're going to pick a 9. You're guaranteed to be down. You're guaranteed to be down $30 before the roll even starts. That bet there is worthless. You're going to have to come out here with probably double odds or single odds every single time to fix this, right? It's great when the 7 rolls. You actually win 120. Losing a quarter, you're actually up about $100 on every 7, which is fantastic. But the amount of times you get picked does not fix that. And you're going to have to come out here with double odds, extra risk on a number that we know the shooter can roll, and you're going to be upside down. Those are tough ways to save it. And there's no guarantee that you're going to be okay, right? I think trying to hedge the 7 for the don't player is really, really hard, given the fact that you got to recover so much when it comes back, right? If I'm going to do the 4 and 10, what about this? What about going each one of them for 30? So if one of them rolls, you only lose 30. And so that when you come back out here with your bridge, you're going to win one of them back. You're still down, but only $5 or $6. Fine. Reduce the risk. But remember that now you've got 6 ways to lose $30 versus, in this case, 3 ways to lose $50, right? You got to think about those probabilities. What's better for you? Is it better to lose, have a better chance to lose 30 or a lesser chance to lose more? You got to ask those questions constantly. What about the yo player, Jen? What about you? What about the come out and you got $25 down there and you're going to put $2 on the yo to fix it? What if it was even 30? It doesn't really matter, but $2 on the yo to fix it. What's going to happen to that yo bet, right? You're gonna win that bet twice, 2 times. 2 times out of 36, you're gonna win that bet. 36 come out rolls, right? Come out rolls. That bet's gonna get paid. You'll win $60 out of the entire 36 rolls. 34 times, you're gonna lose $2, right? How much is that? I don't even know what that adds up to. $68 or $64, right? You lose more than you win when you do this. It's not a lot, right? It's 34 times 2. That's $68 you lose. Sorry, $68 you lose on this bet on average versus it winning twice and saving a quarter. The net there is about $13 differences, $13 or $14 difference between those two, between letting it just ride by itself ride or die over here, you'll lose 25 bucks twice, 50 bucks, or you're gonna lose 2 bucks 34 times, $68. You do the math on that. That's $18 difference. What's better for you in the long run? Just doing this. Now, when you're out here for 150 bucks and you go, oh God, that's gonna really suck when I lose that 150. Okay, I could get behind you throwing 10 bucks out here, right? Because when you win this back, right, the next win, that's such a small load off of your overall bankroll. That could be, I could discuss that with you, right? At this level, and it's, again, you're not playing 150 every single time. I could probably have that conversation because that's a big nut to crack. Again, you lose this one, you got to win it twice to get it back. That's a tough deal. At the quarter level, probably not worth it as much, right? This bet here becomes a situation of when does it hurt? That's when you make the call, when do you hurt? Now, what I've done a lot in the past, and I will show you a simulation here, I do this a lot. I love this move, and you'll see why. I love it for me, not for you. I love doing this. I love getting into the field, okay? I love this move on the come out. For a don't. We're gonna look at if I'm right, if this is worth it. This is a hedgy wedgy kind of thing, but not really. Because what happens is this, right? On the 2 or the 3, you get paid both places. That's pretty nice. That's an extra bonus win, right? When those things happen. The 12, which normally is a tie, gives you at least 2, maybe 3. That's a good thing. So all the craps numbers, this is awesome, right? If you set a point of 4, 9, or 10, you get paid, right, as the point gets set, which means this bet here has no risk. At the worst case scenario is you tie on this shooter, right? On a 4, 9, or 10, the point gets set, you get a quarter, you have a quarter here. The worst thing that happens is you tie. You already in a can't lose situation. I love that, right? Sometimes they roll a 7 and it's an extra quarter on the sequence. That's freaking awesome, right? Until the shooter's not named John, and it's rando, and they're rolling 5, 6s, and 8s. And what ends up happening is you lose your field as the point gets set, right? The best thing that can happen to you now against the 6 is you tie. The worst thing that can happen against that 6 is you lose 2 bets, right? That becomes a rough spot for you too. So hedging the come out has lots of nuance to it, right? I've been known to do this. I've been known to put $1 on the midnight as an attack on the don't, right? That's an interesting way to do it too. So think about like, what's gonna happen bad? I always say to you, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Well, in all these situations, you can get upside down. You can go 25, 50, and like 5 or $3 over here on the hard 10, right? 3 pays, let's see, 7 times, is that enough money? Probably not, right? I think you need $8. $8 to save it. Right now, what happens? Easy 10 comes, you lose this, make a little, everything you're doing here is bleeding you $1 or 2, right? It's just brutal after a while. But don't take my word for it. We're gonna go and run some WinCraps here in a minute. But I want you to think about all the ways that it can hurt you. What about, just knowing this, right? Every case, unless nothing happens, unless like, you're hedging all that shit and you roll a 8 or a 7 or a 9 or something, right? There's nothing. Nothing can happen. It's the best case scenario. But the bleeds are real. The hopping yo is a bleed. You hop the yo, you're giving away $1 every single time. If you do this, let's say you, let's go back over here. Let's say you're doing the 10 thing, right? Putting $50 on the 10 and hopping the hard 10 for $2, right? To win 60. That's actually kind of a cool move, right? A 1-roll bet. Let's hop the hard 10 for 2 to win 60 to save our 50, right? Then they roll an easy 10. You lose it all. It's actually $2 plus your vig up here. It gets worse and worse and worse as it goes, right? The big donks are going to hurt, right? You lose the big lay, you're going to be in rough shape. So I ask you this question: what's worse? What is worse? Is it worse to, for example, on like a lay 9 or something, right? Lose the $78 4 times. If you're gonna lay the 9 for 25 or for $75, Let's take skill and luck's favorite play, right? Let's put it up here. 75 bucks against the 9. Okay, it's gonna be, let's do a $50 don't, 75 up here, right? There's your vig. Is it better to lose this, which you will lose it 3 times? 36 come out rolls. You're gonna lose this. I'm sorry, 4 times. You're gonna lose this. There's 4 ways to roll a 9. You're gonna lose this $75 4 times. What does that add up to? By the way, how much is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, you can do the math, right? 1, 2, 3, $400 or $300, right? That's a lot of money. 1, 2, $300. You're guaranteed to lose $300 if you lay the 9. Guaranteed, right? If you don't lay the 9, you're guaranteed to lose that bet 6 times. What is 6 times 50? Oh, guess what? Also $300. It's the exact same thing, right? It's the exact same thing. You're going to lose this 6 times, $300. You're going to lose this 4 times for $300, but don't forget your vig. An extra $12 goes down. The bleed of the $12 for that going down, that's real. That's 12, not 8. That's real. That's a real thing. That right there is the reason why I don't like doing this. It's not the fact that I don't want to be safe. I don't want to give up all those vigs, number one. And when I lose these things, again, if I lose 75, I have to win that don't pass bet 2 times to recover that. Every time I lose one of these, I got to win that damn thing twice. And I'm not even home yet, right? That's the problem with it. So consider what's worse for you, what's better for you, and all the different things you can do. You got to weigh all those options out. Okay, here's another example here. Losing $2 34 times, like I said in the 11, right? Or losing $30 twice on the don't. What's better? What's worse? Let's go to WinCraps. I'm going to change it out here. Give me a second. Where's my RDP? Hold on a second. I must have closed it down. Give me a second here to reopen this thing up. It's 8:37, so we have time. I don't know. I don't remember closing it. Oh crap! My PC closed down. Nope. There we go. Can you see this? Hopefully you all can see this. I think you can. It looks like on my screen you can. Let's see here. Okay. So what I've got here, I'm going to do actually a new game. Game new. No, I don't want to save anything. So what I've got here is a whole bunch of players. And all the players, as you can see, have $10,000 bankrolls. Every one of them. I got a DP going Commando, a DP player who's hedging just the yo, a DP player who's laying the 9 on the come out, a DP player laying the 6, laying the 4, a DP player who's just putting a buck on the midnight every single time on the come out roll, a DP player who's laying the back wall on the come out roll, and a DP player who's got the field on the come out. These are only for come outs. I'm going to show you the scripts real quick. I'm going to run through them as fast as I can. So just to show you what we're doing. So the Commando player is just saying the next rolls come out, 25 on the don't. It was established, $30 in odds. We're doing 25 and 30. That's all that we're doing. Okay. On the yo player, he's just betting $2 on the 11 on the come out roll to hedge that. The lay 9 player is betting $39 on the 9. That'll pay 26. So he's a little bit ahead. And after the point, take the lay bet down. The same thing for the lay 6 person. It's just on the 6, 30 and 30. The lay 4 person has to do 50 on the 4 and then take his lay down. The midnight person is just betting $1 on the 12 on the come out rolls. That's all he's doing. The back wall lay guy is laying all the numbers for $30 and then of course taking them all down once the number comes, and he's just doing $30 in odds. He really should be doing 60 in odds. I really need to make his odds a little bigger to make it fair. Well, no, I'm going to leave it at 30. I think they're all doing the same thing. So he's going to get destroyed. We have to make him 60. He's going to get murdered coming back out. He's going to have to do the double odds. Otherwise, he'll be upside down every single shooter. The last player is the field guy who's going to go in the field and on the don't. He should really be 20, 25 in the field. To be even Steven. And there's my players. I have all 8 of them. I was going to put another player out here who does everything, like hedging everything and all, but there's not enough spots on the table. WinCraps only gives me eight players. So there's my 8 players. I'm going to play them all at one time. Okay. And the first time I do this, we're going to go action, dice roll files. I'm going to go pick up my rolls. So file, we're going to open up John's rolls. This is my actual rolls that I use or that I've logged for you in my Dice Influence practice sessions. Okay. Let's roll all 8 guys against my rolls and we'll see who does better here. And we're going to check out a couple of things. And I want you to watch the Commando guy. I'm going to put his stats up as I run this out. You'll see he's not very volatile, right? He's hanging around the $10,000 mark. He never really goes up or down. It's very, the don't pass with single odds is a super low volatility play. He's not probably ever going to go to 0. Matter of fact, at best, yes, where we won. At best, he won 10,900. At best, he won $900. He's currently at 260, and at worst, he lost a few $100, right? Over the course of 4,000 rolls. That's actually pretty good. The Yo player, about the same, right? But look at the difference here. He lost about $100 more than the Commando guy because the Yos weren't paying him. He was bleeding. The lay 9 person ends up losing over the course of those same rolls about $300 and some. Okay. And again, their high was about the same. They didn't really achieve anything better. They just lost more money because they couldn't make them up. The player doing the lay 6, same thing. Won about $900, lost about $700. Laying the 4 cost this guy $580, right? Again, his top end was less. He had to make up. Remember, the losses on the 4 cost you so much money. He never made them back like the other guys did. The player who's dropping $1 on the midnight ends up losing or winning $150 or $125 less than the Commando guy. He'd burn in that $12 or burning that $1 every time. Complete waste of money. The back wall lay guy, look at the back wall lay guy. He lost $3,000. Don't ever tell me that laying the back wall for the DP is a good play. He lost $3K laying the back wall, and I don't think he ever had any profit. Early on he makes a lot of profit. Look at that. He lost $3,000 in that damn thing. The field player actually did the best, right? On my rolls, the field player actually does best. And the field player actually, at some point, I think, had won a little over $1,000 more in wins at the peak, right? And showed a better profit than just going by yourself. So for me, I always say, bet the field will come out because I throw that way. My throws make that make sense. Is that cool? Now let's change it up. We're going to go to pick a different dice roll file. I'm going to go change it. We're going to go to dice roll files and let's choose, let's go. I got a bunch of these things. A lot of these dice roll files, by the way, come from casino logging. I've got subscribers who have sent me their logs of casino rolls. So we can take, let's just take this H. I'm not sure. I don't want to say where these are from. It'll give it away. But let's take the H rolls, okay? And we'll play that. We'll do game new. Yes, we're going to save it. Yes, we're going to save it. No. Rewind and play back. I gotta make sure I close that window so it doesn't slow us all down. And let's do it. Let's play this one out and see what happens. Same thing, just a different set of rolls. It's only about 1,000 rolls. This one goes quick. 928 rolls. How did the players do this time? Well, the flat Commando guy won 125. The Yo cost him $100 and some. Laying the 9, laying the 6, laying the 4, all went upside down. The back wall player got destroyed. Laying the back wall is just dumb. It's a fun move once in a while, but boy, is it dumb when you're trying to get a don't pass out. The midnight player lost money, and the field player in this case lost money. His top end was 10,700. The Commando's player top end was 760. So they both were about the same in this case. Again, not me throwing, where I'm throwing a bunch of field numbers. For whatever reason, that was what my rolls were. Let's do another one. We'll do one more from a known set, and then we'll change it up. We'll do, let's do dice roll files. Let's grab, this will be an interesting one. I'm going to do, this is a big one. We'll do the 50,000 rolls. This one is going to be interesting. Watch what happens here. We're going to play this one up. We're going to turn it off. We're going to go game new. Cancel that game. New game. This one takes a minute. There's 50,000 rolls, so it takes a hot minute to run. But watch what happens here. This is going to be interesting. And we'll just talk about it. I'm going to go through the chats while this is running. This is going to take about 5 minutes to run. But 50,000 rolls is interesting. This particular roll file I know is pretty don't friendly early and pretty don't friendly late, right? Or don't unfriendly late. So when I run strategies against this one here, early they always do great, and then they all go to hell in the handbasket toward the end there. So we'll let this thing roll out here for a minute. I just want to go through any PCs that I'm seeing. So if there's any questions about what I'm talking about, we can do it. 50-4 is $1 vig. It depends. My local is $2 for that one. Casinos operate differently. It's on the win, and it's every $20, right? Some places round you up, and just be wary of that it's a thing. Let's see. Michael says, that's why I'm Wayland School of Thought and skip the come out. Lay the number afterwards, right? And I think that's a thing. However, if you skip the come out, and I want to show you this. I think I mentioned this to you last week. If you skip the come out, you're giving up vig, okay? Even if you do a $10 come out, a $10 pass line bet, just to get, or don't pass, just to get the $10 flat through. It's super, like, who cares about $10 in most cases? Then you lay that with your whatever odds you're going to put on it. At that point, those odds are vigless, right? You can remove the vig by having the $10 out there. I think that's a better play, frankly. Especially where you have 10x casinos, right? I think that's the better move. And I've told Waylon that too. Don't just do a direct lay. Get as small as possible. Don't pass bet out, and then jack your odds on that because there's no vig. Make them free if you can do it. I think that's a good thing. Let's see. And Corey says it doesn't make sense to hedge at 25. It doesn't make sense to hedge at 250. And what I said about that was this: if the number hurts you, right? When that number becomes painful, that's the time you do it. In other words, you'd never do this, but if you're at $1,000 bankroll with a $150 or $200 don't pass, you probably ought to hedge that, because a loss of that might be irrecoverable for you. You shouldn't have that high of a bet without the bankroll to support it. And if you're at a $5,000 bankroll with $1,000 or $100 don't, that shouldn't matter either. Does that make sense? I think it's based on how much of your bankroll you've got jacked out on the table, whether you make that yo hedge decision or not. Let's see. Analyzer says can't be playing the field, or at least play any craps big, right? It's a bleed. You'll watch here in a minute. We're at 49,000 rolls. We're almost done here. Watch what happens to the field player against this set of rolls. Here we go. We're almost done. 50-something thousand. This is a long, long list over here. Well, you're making a good point, Michael. If I don't care about the $10, I don't care about the vig. It's the vigs over time. If you've got, whatever. Let's say let's say you lay 6 consecutive points for $120 each. All of those vigs are more than the $10. Way more than the $10 would be on the flats. I think getting the flat through at that low level and the free odds, I think, is the better play. Anyway, here we go. End of dice roll file. How did we do? Everybody lost money. Again, this roll file I know is very unfriendly to don't players, but that's okay. Who did worse though? Let's take a look at all of it. The Commando player lost $4,000, which is not great. The Yo better lost $7,200 just betting the Yo on those 50,000 rolls. He lost double the money on the Yo on the come out Yos. The Lay 9 lost 5,600, which is again almost $2,000 more than this guy did. The Lay 6 player lost $7,300. The Lay 4 player lost $6,800. Look at those losses. The Midnight player lost $7,000, just like the Yo player did. Those dollars going out, man, they added up over 50,000 rolls. They really, look at how much they added up over 50,000 rolls. That's insanity. The Backwall layer went bankrupt, and the Field player went bankrupt in this run. But what's interesting about it is this: the Commando player at one point won $12,800. He was up $2,800. The Field player had won $5,000 at one point. So there's a point in time where the guy playing the field was crushing it, and then the whole table goes to hell, right? And it goes to hell for the don't player, and he goes bankrupt. He ends up burning it all. Interesting stuff. But what I see consistently, we can actually do this one more. We'll do one more time. Let's do game new. We're going to not save the results. We're going to say okay on that. I'm going to go to the dice rolls again. We're going to turn the dice rolls off. Let's go to the dice roll file. We'll do our last run here. Let's turn it off, which will put us into random mode. And if I come here, let's see, come here, and we'll do a stop options. We'll say auto stop at 10,000 rolls. And let's just run it again. We'll just do 10,000 WinCraps random rolls and just let it do its thing for us to see what it's going to do. So there's that. All right. Let's see what's happening here. Duracell says the DP doesn't always go to the 410 to lay odds. Right. So the point we're talking about here, Duracell, is the strategy that Wayland has, where he calls it laying the point. So you bypass the come out roll and just drop a whole bunch of lay on whatever the point is. So he's trying to bypass the whole come out mess and just do a direct lay on whatever the point is. Of course, you're paying vig on that. So I'm suggesting to Michael that we just do a small flat bet on the don't, and then lay huge odds on that. That gets you the same thing, but without paying the vig. All right, here we go. How do we do? Boy, oh boy, look at that random run. Everybody lost their shirt. That's a terrible random run. 5,000, 5,000, 6,000, 6,000, 7,000, 5,000. Back wall A goes bankrupt and the field loses 6 grand. Everybody loses. The Commando player loses the least. Every single time, pretty much every time, we've lost money. Look at the back wall leg guy actually won 11,000 at one point. It must have been a bunch of come out sevens. They're all losing their shirt. They're all winning about $800 or $900 at best, but they're all losing 3 and 4 grand on that random run. I think the lesson here is this. Let's go back to the other screen. Let me go back here. I gotta actually close this, I think. If I close that down and I go to here, can you see me? Let's see. Hello? There we go. Turn that light off too. The lesson learned to me is this, and I think whatever your tactic is, right? If you want to do the Wayland thing, which is, just lay the point, great. I think get a small flat, lay the point, which is what you're doing. Save yourself the vig on that. I think that's a smarter play. What I see when I run the WinCraps, whether all the strategies lose or I've run randoms where they've all won money. You saw against my roll, they all pretty much won some money. Invariably, the player going Commando loses the least or wins the most in almost every scenario. I've only seen the field player beat him a couple of times. It just depends on what the points are being set as. In almost every scenario, the Commando player comes out ahead, loses less or wins more. It's not always by a lot. As you saw in that one roll, it was $80 difference, right? Basically, you're burning that $1 or $2 on the yo every single time. It's better to go Commando. It may not feel like it. When you're out there, you're going to go, this is brutal. I don't have enough money. Like when I do the Paycheck and I have $1,000 bankroll and I get those bets up to $100, that's 10% of my bankroll. I can't afford to lose 10% of my bankroll. That's when I go with the $5 yo. I will do the $5 yo when I'm out there for a big chunk of my bankroll. I'll do it. If I'm at $100 don't and a $5,000 bankroll, I don't care. To Corey's point, that's an okay percentage loss. I'll take that, but I will not take a 10% loss. So I think you make that decision based on what you're willing to lose, if that makes some sense. All right. Let's see. What else do we have to go through? My phone is buzzing. Fundraiser, whatever. Okay. I think I've covered almost everything. Duracell says utilizing DI, knowing your advantage, 100%. Right. And I think if you look at me running that simulation against my rolls, right? When I did my DI rolls, I've told you so many times, when I'm got the dice and I want to throw from the don't, if I was going to do the Latterson for real in my life with my rolls, I would put $1 on the midnight and I would bet the field on the comeouts, because I throw enough field numbers and enough horn numbers to make that bet for me profitable. And you saw against my rolls, the field player won the most money because of the way that I happened to throw. I'm not a DI, but my pocket seems to be that. And for me, that works. And like, I think you're right. Knowing what you do, critical. Ed Robinson says it all the time. Know what you throw, right? His betting style is based on knowing what he throws in a given session. He can analyze his dice and go, I'm throwing this, I'm betting on that, right? That's what he does. I'm looking at my long series of rolls and saying, I tend to roll more of this. I'm going to put my money in that spot. If you know it, you bet it. I think it's pretty cool. Well, I kind of disagree with this, Corey, only because of this. Stop loss zero is a mentality, but you're saying, I trust my bankroll to do the job. But if it's, and what if I'm down to 500 and it's a $100 bet like it was yesterday? Now I'm at, now I'm at 20% of my bankroll on a one roll loss. There's a point in time where you have to be protective. I think there's a smart play and there's the all-in mentality. I think you gotta run the fence on that one a little bit. I think that to me is, again, I think it's a percentage of bankroll play. That's what, for my taste. I'll hedge it when the bankroll loss percentage is too high. But generally speaking, I think that's not the best move to make. And there it is. Let's go back over here. Let's go back to the Q&As and see if there's anything else to be said. I think I've covered all the questions here, so I'm just going to wrap it up and get ready for the rollout upstairs. My final juice on this is simple. I know we all want to keep our money, right? The reason for hedging is because you don't want to lose what you think is a big bet. $25 don't. For a $500 buy-in, $25 in the don't's a lot of money, right? It's actually a lot. I don't want to lose the $25. I don't want to lose $100, right? When it becomes soul crushing to lose that money and you feel like you have to hedge to save it, this is what we're talking about in chat. The decision you have to make is this. Should I hedge to save what I don't want to lose because it's too much to lose? If that's the conversation you're having, that bet's probably too big. Ultimately, that bet is probably too big, right? If you've laddered up to the point where the crush on your bankroll is too much to handle, the bet's too big, and you should probably restart your ladder, right? Maybe, or consider playing a different way. If you can't afford to lose that bet, it shouldn't be out there in the first place. And like when we were doing the unicorn with skill, and it was a $300 don't that required a $900, whatever it was, I think it was $500 don't and a $900 lay nine. You got to think about that. You got to go, can I handle losing $900, right? Or is the $500 so important that I got to throw $900 at risk just to maybe save it? Like those questions become like, you got to really think about, are you betting way too much to do that, right? And if you can't handle that loss, that's the wrong play style for you. So I think if you're hedging to save money, you got too much money out there, most likely. Or you're playing way too scared or you're way underfunded. One of those problems has to be addressed. Either get better funding or play a strategy that does not require that big of a bet so you don't feel the need to hedge it. Going commando 100% of the time loses less and wins more. In the moment, it may not feel that way. You may catch, like I've done, 3 11s in a row and it sucks and you want to break your stick. Trust me, over the course of that, and I've done it, I've taken every roll from upstairs and I've come down here and I've run that exact set of 400 and some rolls we've done last 2 weeks against this exact strategy. And I can tell you this, the yo hedger loses every single time more than the other guy does. Even though it saves me on 4 or 5 of those come out rolls, over the course of the whole thing, that's a losing bet. It is what it is. So just be, again, eyes wide open. Those center action bets, the huge house edge, you can feel the house edge in that bleed and just be careful with it. All right. So there we are, guys. That's it. That's my show. It's 9 o'clock. I need new coffee. I need to get in the garage and we're going to go make ourselves, hopefully, cross your fingers, another paycheck. And I'll see you. No, Dan, my stick is in the mail. It should be here today or tomorrow. I got a FedEx notification. So it's here today or tomorrow. We'll see it. And it's a good one. I got a good rattan bendy stick. So it's going to be like a legit dealer stick. I'm very excited about it. So cool. Thanks all for watching. I'll see you in a minute. God bless all of you. And I'll see you in for the paycheck here in just about 5. Bye.